Sometimes people ask, how did you end up in Papua New Guinea doing Bible translation? Shortly after I graduated from college, somebody showed me a poster from Wycliffe Bible Translator. It was a help wanted poster, but it showed the needs of Bible translation around the world. And Papua New Guinea was the country with more languages and more places that needed the scriptures translated than anywhere else in the world. And I had trained to be a high school math teacher, but I said, Lord, there's people fighting over teaching jobs in the U.S. This is obviously a job that needs people, and there aren't enough people to go around. And we looked at some of the places where there were needs, and an administrator pushed us strongly in the direction of Manus Island. It's kind of good that he did, because if we had gone out there and looked at it first and realized what a beautiful place it is, we might have chosen it for the wrong reasons.
We've been working since 1987 getting the Bible translated into the Nali language of Manus Island. And that seems like a long time. We're not done. There's a lot of work to go. There are 3,000 people among the Nali language group.
Some of the groups on Manus Island have less than 1,000 speakers. And you might wonder, well, why spend all this time translating the Bible for those people who don't have that many speakers of the language? It reminds me of the parable of the 99 sheep who stayed in the fold and the one that got lost. It was the little individual one, the one that was out there on his own, that needed the help.
Our translators will meet in our house, and we'll put our dining room table in the middle of the living room, and everyone will sit around the dining room table that is in the living room, and they'll work on group checking or advisor checking the Nali translation. I provide a lot of support for the Nali translation team. I do a lot of cooking, and on any given day when our translators are meeting, I don't know whether I will be feeding 8 people for lunch or 18.
One of the things that we're often asked is, what's a typical day like? I don't think we've ever had a typical day. It's fun to sit around the translation table doing a different verse that we haven't been translated or checked before, and all of a sudden the lights go on and you see people understanding something that they'd read that verse in the Pidgin trade language many times before, but all of a sudden you realize that they're hearing it in their language and they're getting the meaning for the first time. And so work is, we never have a typical day. Work is always new and it's always interesting. We were more committed to helping them do the translation, and for us to be trainers and mentors and facilitators rather than to be the translators who did it all ourselves.
One of the ways that we can help all the other people of Manus is by training our Nali translators to be teachers, so that they can go out and teach people from other languages on Manus to do Bible translation.
And so it's a discipleship process. It's not doing something and handing them a book at the end and going home. And that's why it takes longer than you might think, because if we were just interested in producing a book, we could probably do all the things it would take just to get a book done. But we want to leave more than just a book. We want to leave disciples and people who are trained and able to continue on. Otherwise, the work will never be finished in Manus province with still 27 languages left to go.
Because really what we're called to do is to make disciples. And Bible translation has been a way to invest in the lives of the Nali people and to help them to grow spiritually and become stronger disciples of Jesus Christ. So we might not be breaking records for getting Bible translation done, but it's all part of making disciples.
When we think about the people who don't have access to God's Word the way we do, I wonder how they get by sometimes. I look to the Bible when I need help and encouragement and wisdom and comfort. And there's all kinds of times when my father died, or when grief comes along and pains and problems, that we turn to the Word for guidance and help. And people who don't have that, I think they are missing out not only on the opportunity to have a relationship with God if they don't understand how they can do that, but just all the wisdom that comes from His Word. And so I want to see everybody in the world have access to that. So since we're investing in God's Word and people, we know that our life is not wasted and we're doing things that matter. And so it's motivating to get up and work each day. And We look forward to seeing the fruit that God provides. We're just gardeners in His great orchard, and the fruit is His, and someday we'll have the privilege of standing around God's throne, worshiping with people from every tribe and tongue and people and nation. What greater motivation can you have? What greater goal can you be living for?